Good morning, students. Today we are going to start a new chapter called Statistics. And in today's lesson, we are going to introduce statistics as a chapter. So today's lesson is on introduction. So what is statistics? Statistics is the study of collection, organization, analysis and interpretation of data. That means we have to collect, organize the data, analyze and interpret from the data what we can understand. It is a branch of mathematics. Now, in explaining statistics, we are coming across a term called data. So, what is this data? Data is a piece of information in form of facts or figures collected or represented for any specific purpose is called data. Data is a plural form of the Latin word datum. So from the Latin word datum, we get a plural form called data. Data is the piece of information that we want, that suppose we are gathering the electric consumption in a locality. So whatever the electric consumption is being done by each of the families in a locality, this data, this information can be in form of facts or figures. Figures means in numbers, facts means in information. And it can be presented in a certain way. This data, when we collect them, organize them, analyze and interpret them, then we come across statistics. So this is all about statistics and data. Now, when we collect data, there are two different forms of collection of data. The two different forms are primary data and secondary data. Data collected from any first-hand experience for an explicit use of the purpose is known as primary data. That means, suppose you are given a job to collect the information of the electric consumption in your locality, then you are the first-hand expertise who is going to collect the information. So the data collected by you is the primary data, whereas data collected by any third party for a different purpose other than the use is called a secondary data. Suppose organization, an NGO organization is doing a survey on how many children are there in a locality, or in one family how many children are present. So there can be number of boys as well as number of girls. This data is collected from NGO, collected by an NGO person. Then if you want this data to use in your project, you have to ask from the NGO person about this survey, and then you get the information from them. So you are not going from door to door to collect the information. A third party is going from door to door for an information, and they are gathering the information on number of children, whereas you need the number of family members in that in a family. So the purpose for the NGO was different and the purpose for yours collection of data is different, but gathering from the overall survey you can estimate the information. So this kind of collection of data where a third party is involved is called a secondary data. So collection of data is of two kinds, primary and secondary. Now when this collection of data is being done, we have to represent this data. Now representation of data can be done in two forms, ungrouped data and grouped data. So first we will discuss ungrouped data. In an ungrouped data, this example 1 is an ungrouped data, where in this example you can see that you are to consider marks obtained by 10 students in a mathematics test given below. So there are 10 students who are getting this who have given this mathematics test. In this ungrouped data, the first term that we come across is raw data. If there is no change in the data and it is the same form as it is collected, then it is called a raw data. So here the number of marks that is been scored by the student in a mathematics test are given and they are in a raw form. That is, there is no change has been done in the data. So this type of data is a raw data. Range. Range is the difference between the highest and the lowest number in a data. From this given data, the highest number is clearly 95 and the lowest data is clearly 25. So the range will be 95 minus 25, which is equals to 70. So 70 is our range. So in a presentation of data, the raw unchanged form of data is a raw data, and we can get the range from this data. Then in presentation of data, we have another important term, that is frequency distribution in an ungrouped data. Frequency distribution is when the number of items is large. Suppose in this example 2, we have 100 marks that is being scored by 30 students. So here previously the previous example was of 10 students. Here the example is of 30 students. So the number of item is large. We can convert it into a tabular form, which is called a frequency distribution table. Tabular form means in a table fashion. In this fashion, a table fashion, when the given data can be represented in a table fashion or a tabular form, we call it frequency distribution table. Frequency, the word frequency is very important. Frequency is the number of items, number of times the item comes in the table. Number of times a certain number repeats itself in the data. So that is called frequency. Now in our representation of data, frequency, raw data and frequency distribution, these three terms are very important. So first example 2, this is the 30 students marks that was obtained out of 100, and when this is represented in a tabular form, then the next slide is what we get. This one is the marks from the table that was given, and number of students, number of time 10 occurs, number of time 20 occurs are written side by side. Number of time 10 occurs is 1, 20 occurs is 1, 36 occurs is 3 times, 4 occurs is 4 times, like this way. This is an ungrouped frequency distribution table, or simply a frequency distribution table. So this kind of tabular representation is called frequency distribution table, FDT. Now, representation of data in a grouped data. Previously we have discussed ungrouped data. Now we are going to discuss group data. In group data, there are 5 important terms that we need to know. First one is class interval. The group used to classify the data is called the class interval. Then upper limit. In each class interval, the greatest number is the upper limit. Then lower limit. In each class interval, the lowest number is called the lower class limit. Then we have class size. The difference between the upper limit and the lower limit is the class size. And lastly, class mark. Class mark is the midpoint of each class interval and is called class mark. We can find class mark using this formula. Class mark is equals to upper class limit plus lower class limit by 2. So what are all this in a group data? Suppose this example 3 is given, where 100 plants each were planted in 100 school during one Mahotsav. After 1 month, the number of plants that were survived were recorded. So this is raw data, and this raw data can be made in a tabular form, and we will get a frequency distribution table. Let us see the table. So you can see this is the table that we have arrived. Now, previous example, there were only one numbers like 10, 20, 36, 40, so on. But here you can see the number of plants survived are in a limit. So the first term that we came across is a class limit. Class limit was the group used to classify the data is called the first term was class interval. The group used to classify the data is called the class interval. So 20 to 29 is a class interval. 30 to 39 is a class interval. If the number is written from so to so, it is called a class interval. Upper limit is always a number which is greater. That means the right hand side number is the upper limit, whereas in the same class interval the number that is on the left hand side is our lower limit. So this is our lower limit and our right hand side is upper limit. Same as 49, 59, 69, all these are upper limits, whereas 40, 50 and 60 are our lower limits. Now for 29 to 20 to 29 is our class interval. So our class size is 9. So that means the difference between the upper limit and the lower limit gives us class size. So our class size is 9. That is 20 minus 29 is 9. Then lastly we have class mark. Class mark is the midpoint of the class interval. Here we can find class mark by upper limit plus lower limit by 2. So upper limit is 29 plus lower limit is 20 by 2. So we will get 49 by 2, which is equals to 24.5. So 24.5 is our class mark. That means it is the midpoint of the upper limit as well as the lower limit. Now this form of representation, this tabular form of representation is called a grouped frequency distribution table. Whenever we have our first column in this fashion, we will say it is a grouped frequency distribution table. Whereas if the numbers are in single numbers like 10, 20, 30, 40, then it is an ungrouped frequency distribution table. Lastly, we need to know two terms. First is inclusive or discontinuous frequency distribution, and the second is exclusive or continuous distribution table. In inclusive or discontinuous distribution, frequency distribution, it can be recognized by, if you see the first column, the upper limit and the lower limit of the next class interval is not same. The upper limit of one class is different from the lower limit from the next class. Then such a frequency distribution table is called discontinuous or inclusive distribution table. That means in the first you can see the upper limit is 35, whereas in the next class, just next class, the lower limit is 36. It is not 35, that means there is a gap. Whenever we get such kind of group data, we call it as inclusive or discontinuous frequency distribution. Now, exclusive or continuous distribution table. The upper limit of one class is same as the lower limit of the next class, then the frequency distribution table is called as continuous or exclusive frequency distribution table. As you can see in the first column, the upper limit is 20 and the lower limit just of next class is 20. So diagonally the numbers are same. You can see 40, again 40, 60, again 60. So the diagonal numbers, the upper limit of the previous class and the lower limit of the next class is absolutely same. When we get this kind of frequency table, we call it an exclusive or continuous distribution table. So today we have discussed about the chapter statistics, and this is an introductory part of statistics. I hope this short tutorial is helpful for you. Thank you.